cares?
Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is my reaction to the UFC Fight Night Burns versus Morales, which just finished. Yeah, and since it's very late, we're gonna hop right into it. And yeah, where's my PowerPoint? There it is. First fight of the night was in the women's strawweight division. We had Tisha Pennington versus Luana Pinheiro. I was predicting Tisha Pennington to win this one by decision. I thought in the first round it shows that Tisha Pennington, I still think they should have gone the other way around with the names, because Tisha Tiny Tornado Torres is such a great nickname, and Raquel Rocky Pennington could also be Torres, who cares? So just for the nickname, you should have kept Torres as your family name. But all right, I thought that in the first round it showed that Tisha Pennington, I'm sorry, could actually be champion in her division if she had more power, because she was landing shots, and she's always landing ruthless looking shots that should be at least knockdowns, but they are not. So she does not have enough power in her shots. Her shots are landing, and her shots are she landed on Pinheiro and she was off balance, so she really got her in good positions, but never seemed to really damage her, except for maybe in the third, but we come to that later. After a while, it felt like Pinheiro lost respect for her power, but I still thought that Pennington did enough to win the first round. In the second, Pinheiro started to land more, but I still thought that Tisha's volume was kind of there, but it was not enough to win the second round. I had Pinheiro winning the second round. In the third, Tisha Torres lands an amazing combo. I mean, seriously, that combo. There was such a nice Taekwondo combo, and it somehow did no damage. I don't know how. Yeah, the point I was making before, really no power behind it. Great technique, but the power is lacking. In the end, Pinheiro tries to grapple to get the victory here, but I didn't think she did enough in the third to get that round, and I had Tisha Pennington winning the third. And it turned out to be that way. It was a 29-28, I think, across the boards. Let me recheck that. Where is it? Yep. For Tisha Pennington. And we move on to the flyweights. We had Park Yoon-sung versus Carlos Hernandez. And this one was a super quick fight. It was a super dominant display from Yoon-sung Park. He stalks him on the fence, hurts him with a shot, turns that into a takedown, and yeah, submits Hernandez with a rear naked choke choke in the first round. Yeah, great performance by Park Yoon-sung. Looking forward to seeing more from him. He looks like a prospect. I gave him some credit before, but I did not think he would make such quick work out of Carlos Hernandez. We move on. Women's strawweight division. Again, we had strawweights before, no? Yeah. The Pennington fight was strawweight as well. Elise Reed versus Denise Gomez. Also, a very lopsided fight. I thought it was total domination by Gomez. Lots of damage on the feet. Then she decided to take it to the ground, and that's where it kind of staled a little bit. No, the tempo was taken out, and yeah, she didn't land much from top position. But the second round, Gomez again starts landing on the feet, and this time she lands with a clean overhand right. Yeah, Elise Reed got dropped by that and finished violently. I mean, Denise Gomez is really looking like a force at strawweight. So yeah, you can see that she works with Jessica Andrade, because she also has that kind of power and throws that way. Yeah, great victory. We move on. Women's bantamweight division. I'm sorry. Yeah, TKO in the second round was the result of the fight. We move on. Women's bantamweight division. We had Luana Santos. Or did I forget to tell you my predictions? Well, if you didn't watch the video, who cares? I'll tell you at the end, and I'll give you an overview at the end too. So we had in the women's bantamweight division, we had Luana Santos versus Tainara Lisboa. This one, I thought that Lisboa started well on the feet, and then she kind of overcommitted on a couple of shots and got very close to Santos, who then took her down and controlled most of the first round. In the first, I thought it looked very, very, very judo-esque, the way she took side control. In the second round, it was even more obvious, because she just, yeah, stayed in that side control-ish position, which is a control position in judo, to get control time, which wins you ultimately a fight. But that's judo, so it doesn't do much in MMA if you don't turn it into something, and she didn't do much with it, except for a burst at the end, in which she ended up entangling both arms of Tainara Lisboa and turned it into a key lock submission, like right at the end of the second round. So great performance by Luana Santos. Dominated Tainara Lisboa in her return. Nothing she could do actually tonight. Yeah, great performance by Luana Santos. We move on. Featherweights. Oh no, the kilo. I mean, forget my own techniques. Damn it. Featherweights. We had Yadir Del Val versus Conor Matthews. Conor Matthews did not look great in his last performance. And yeah, he did not look great tonight either. Yadir Del Val pressured him right away to the fence and turned it into a takedown. Takes his back and, yes, sinks in a rear naked choke really, really quickly. Great performance. Nothing else you can say about this. This was just, yeah, flawless performance. Looking forward to see more of him. Great debut. There you see it. Rear naked choke. We move on. Lightweight division. We had Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. Yeah. There goes my... Oh, by the way, I was... Until that point, I think I was flawless. No, I had Lisboa winning. Other than that, I had... The tendencies of my predictions were all correct. And then Jared Gordon came along. At the beginning of the first round, yeah, Moises somehow slipped and seemed to fell into pulling guard, something like that. From that position, Jared Gordon took top position, and Moises immediately split him open from bottom position with my God, I can speak tonight, with some vicious elbows. After a scramble, then Gordon lands a counter right hook, gets a knockdown from it, and finishes Moises off with ground and pound. It he really looked amazing tonight. Jared Gordon looked like the real deal. He took some damage. For a while, it looked like it could turn out bad, but he showed toughness. He showed resilience, and then landed a great shot, a counter shot, and finished Moises off, who hasn't been finished many times, I don't think. Let me check that. I don't think it's been. Where am I? There it is. He has been finished a couple of times. So we knew he was chinnable, but Jared Gordon found it tonight, and he ends, a rather long streak of bad luck he had. But we're not going to talk about this tonight. Instead, we're going to move on to the main card, I think, already. We had Gabriel Green versus Mateus Camillo in the lightweight division. I thought in the first round, the first thing I thought was Gabriel Green looks huge. His counters looked crisp, but I thought that Mateus Camillo landed a couple of vicious body shots, and he had some top control to edge the first round in my books. In the second, immediately Gabriel Green comes out with more intensity, but he overcommits on I think it was a flying knee attempt, gets taken down, lands in a deep triangle, which Mateus Camillo tried to turn into a triangle armbar on occasion, but he failed, and after some struggle, Green got out of it. Partly because of a huge slam he did. And then he somehow transitioned to the back, and I already thought that Camillo's body language didn't look great at that moment. And he got submitted right after that by a face crank. Is the official result. By face crank. I'm not sure why he tapped though. To me, there's two possibilities for that. The first was that he actually injured his neck on the slam, because his neck was really impacted, I thought. Because both their weights landed right on top of his head and neck area, and was, looked like it could be painful. Or maybe the pulling on the necks, because Gabriel Green was also pulling on his neck a lot, like a neck crank, like he was pulling him sideways. Maybe that made a sound in his inside of him that made him tap right after. I don't know. But we move on. We had the featherweights. Julian Erosa versus Melquizael Costa. And boy, they performed tonight. I have to say, these guys, first round was mostly stand-up, with Costa wobbling Erosa numerous times, actually, which got him, of course, the first round. And the second was a lot closer, but it still was Costa who looked kind of quicker, I thought, and still also landing better shots. And Erosa was wearing it too. He was, his face looked all swollen. In the third, Erosa really showed how tough he really is and went into an all-out war. He just didn't care anymore. He got hit a couple of times, but he just, wobbled and kept on throwing. loaded up again, and threw the next hook. In the end, it wasn't enough because he ran out of time. I thought that Costa looked gassed right around the 2-minute mark, I thought, from in the third round, I'm sorry. So he had 3 minutes left, but he couldn't finish him. He couldn't push the pace enough to get a finish. So yeah, Marquise Costa took the unanimous decision victory. I thought that fight was great. Overall, this was the fight of the night to me. Erosa showed great toughness and he rallied late. On the other hand, Marquise Costa really showed that he's an elite striker who still... No, he has been defeated, yes. I'm not well prepared tonight, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, he has been defeated a couple of times, but he's on a great run lately. And his run is continuing with a great performance over Julian Erosa, even though Erosa rarely played. But I don't think any of these guys should lose stock over this. We move on. Middleweight division. We have... Oh no, I'm sorry. First of all. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. My bad. There you go. Middleweight division, we had Dustin Stoltzfus versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. In this one, I gave a clear edge to Ruziboyev, and damn, I had to eat my words tonight. Because Dustin Stoltzfus brought it. He really brought it. In the first round, an inadvertent headbutt made Ruziboyev stumble kind of to his back, and Stoltzfus capitalized, got on top. And I thought that right after dropping him with that headbutt, he got into a guillotine. So Stoltzfus really cranked on that neck, and on a couple of occasions I thought that it looked really tight, and it really looked like Ruziboyev was already ready to tap, because he kind of had this hand like this, ready to tap Dustin Stoltzfus's ass, actually. Which, I don't know what else he would want to do there with his hand, you know? Like in that motion. There's nothing you could do, so yeah, I thought he looked like he was about to tap, but he didn't. But I still thought that Stoltzfus's guillotine was the most significant, and that's why I gave the first round to him. Even though Ruziboyev kind of took over late. The second round was more back and forth action, but Ruziboyev was landing hard, and Stoltzfus was wearing it. He got split open. He threatened with a couple of submission attempts, but nothing really close. I thought that Ruziboyev did enough to win the second round just based on damage. In the third was just a bloody war. Ruziboyev was landing on the feet, and Stoltzfus was initiating non-stop scrambles. I personally gave the third to Ruziboyev. I know that might be controversial. Just based on damage. Again, it was a very, very close round. And the judges actually agreed with me. They gave a unanimous decision to Nursultan Ruziboyev. Which, yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I was expecting Stoltzfus to win this because, yeah, he was a little bit more active, but I thought that Ruziboyev did more damage. That was also a very entertaining fight. We had back-to-back really, really good fights. Stoltzfus really surprised me with his toughness. I apologize for disrespecting his abilities, and his resourcefulness was also on display tonight. Ruziboyev looked mortal tonight, even though his stand-up still looked vicious and lethal. Stoltzfus was really a bloody mess. But he stayed in it, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of media outlets out there will have scored it in his favor. But I didn't. We move on. Lightweight division, we had Sodiq Yusuff versus Myron Santos. I had Sodiq Yusuff winning this by TKO, but it didn't turn out that way. It was a very close fight. At least in the beginning, I thought. I thought that Yusuff looked stronger, while Santos seemingly was the quicker. In the first round, I was leaning towards Yusuff, though. Even though Myron Santos got better as the round, got to a close, I thought. Only at the end he got better, and in the beginning he was very tentative. He was looking at Yusuff striking. In the second, Santos kind of took over. He looked very, very smooth. He was, dodging most of Yusuff's shots. On one or two occasions, I think, he hurt and cut Sodiq Yusuff. And that's why I gave him the second round. In the third, Sodiq Yusuff starts with a lot of pressure, but Santos seemed to be controlling the striking enough. So I gave him the third round as well. The third was very close. I thought he was kind of cruising, which I didn't understand, but I still gave him the third, so the judges agreed with me again, and he got the unanimous decision victory. I'm sorry. I just realized I had a typo in my script. For this one, I loved Santos' striking defense. I would like him to be a little bit more active with his offense as well, because sometimes when you only want to counter strike, you get stuck in watching the other guy, and when he doesn't shoot many shots, you're shooting even less, and you lose a decision on occasion. That wasn't the case tonight. It was an overall really good performance by Myron Santos. And I have to say, he has a really, really outstanding striking defense. One thing about Yusuff, I have to say, the verbal fakes, I don't like that. Especially the way he was using it, because I thought, and I stayed on that opinion for the rest of the fight, and it checked out. Whenever he does his puffing, he's not throwing. When he's throwing, he's not puffing. So the fake doesn't do nothing if you know what he's doing, you know? If he watches my video, then maybe he's changing it for the next fight. But if he's not, that might be something to look into. We move on. We had the light heavyweight division scheduled, but Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato was postponed because Bellato had some sort of illness, some sort of injury maybe, we don't know. Good wishes. Fight got cancelled. And we move on to the main event. In the welterweight division, we had Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. Yeah, we had a short feeling out process, and then Morales seemingly flipped the switch and just blasted Burns with power shots. He dropped him multiple times, mostly with hooks, and finishes Gilbert Burns in the first round, exactly as he predicted, apparently. Amazing performance. Amazing performance. Yeah, Gilbert Burns, I didn't think he looked bad tonight. I don't think he looked bad tonight. He just got caught a couple of times, and then the damage was too much. And Michael Morales looked like, yeah, the future welterweight champion, I have to say. Him against Jack Della Maddalena could be a banger. Could 100% would be a banger, guarantee. As long as it lasts, that would be a banger. But that was the last fight of the night. Michael Morales by TKO in the first. And those were my picks. Oh, sorry, I'm in the way. Yep, like this. Those were my picks, and as you can see, I had 3 of them were incorrect. I picked Lisboa to win, I picked Moises to win, and I picked Yusuf to win. Other than that, I was correct. So I had 3 incorrect, 8 correct, and 1 cancellation tonight. So all the results of tonight's fight night were T-Shirt Pennington by unanimous decision over Luana Pinheiro. Park Yun-sung submits Carlos Hernandez. Denise Gomez gets a TKO over Elise Reed. Yadir Del Val submits Conor Matthews. Luana Santos submits Tainara Lisboa. Jared Gordon gets a TKO over Thiago Moises. Gabriel Green submits Mateus Camillo. Melquiza Acosta gets a unanimous decision over Julian Erosa. My bad, I'm seeing another error. My bad. Now it should be fixed. Yeah. Where was I? Melquiza Acosta, unanimous decision over Julian Erosa. Nursultan Ruziboyev, unanimous decision over Dustin Stoltzfus. Myron Santos, unanimous decision over Sodiq Yusuff. Paul Craig did not fight Rodolfo Bellato, so we don't know. Michael Morales gets a TKO in the first round over Gilbert Burns. Overall, I thought the fights themselves delivered. I was positively surprised by some of the fights, by many of the fights actually. But on the other hand, the card was like not star-packed. And yeah, not many fights that I was hyped for before. So kind of a, yeah, seemingly a kind of cheap card for the Apex. But the fights themselves were bangers. Many finishes, and the couple of decisions we had were really good fights. So I'm content with tonight. I hope you were too. If you liked my video, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, or commenting on my content. And yeah, that's it for tonight. I wish you guys a good night. a good day, a good start in the next week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.